is Lessons in the Challenges of Leadership, the series that enables managers to achieve the remarkable. Podcast, video, short reads. Conceived, developed and presented by Siebert Neethling.
In 1943, a British reconnaissance flight witnessed something very unusual. A plane with German Luftwaffe insignia with no propellers. It was soon confirmed that espionage rumors had been true. Germany had successfully developed a prototype of a jet fighter plane. Now, this sparked a great deal of anxiety amongst the Allies, and Lockheed was commissioned to develop a similar plane at pace. A team of specialists, pilots, designers, aeronautical engineers, engine experts, aircraft builders, was assembled to work together in what was an old circus tent next to a smelly plastics factory. They gave it the nickname Skunkworks, and it stuck. The team worked intensely, collaborating on aspects of the plane in real time, removed from others and under strict security. They were given free rein, resourced well, and sheltered from organizational procedures. And they were given pressure. A no-nonsense 143 days later, the Lockheed XP-80 was ready. The concept of Skunkworks has been applied many times since, an enriched, high-priority R&D incubator where a multidisciplinary team focuses solely on one outcome. Google X Lab is an example, as is the fabled group of 50 people assembled by Steve Jobs to develop the Macintosh computer behind the Good Earth restaurant in Cupertino. Now, some years ago, a client of mine working in a nationally strategic space asked me to do research and make recommendations on the implementation of an MDT approach in their operations. I found great research and great findings, especially from medical, engineering, and military environments. The following 5 tools for improved collaboration comes from that research and from behavior science and from helping many organizations to successfully transform their collaboration culture. Tool 1. Create a collaboration-positive environment. You don't need an old circus tent, but it really helps to have a co-location environment where it is easy to see and hear one another's work, and where processes are transparent and clearly focused on the one outcome. If you can't be co-located, or it is not absolutely essential, make sure that communication channels like virtual meeting platforms are clear, easy, and used. It has to be made as easy as possible to collaborate. Any barriers will be magnified under pressure or when there is disagreement, which is exactly when you need to communicate the most. In my office, we physically optimize the space to improve collaboration. We have clear, project-oriented systems and processes. And when people work from home, we use standard protocols to track progress and keep communication channels open and pure. Tool 2. Develop understanding of others' needs. If we don't care very much about someone else's outcome, but we do care about our own, we tend to compete. If we don't care much for our own outcome, but we do care for others' outcome, we tend to accommodate. If we don't care much either way, we tend to avoid. And if we care for the other person's outcome and we care for our own, that is the domain of collaboration. Collaboration does not happen effectively unless the parties care for one another's outcomes. Start by seeking to understand, not to be understood. Develop concern for others' outcomes. I choose the word carefully. Develop. You don't develop by saying, "Why didn't you tell me?" You develop understanding by asking proactive questions, thinking about what is important to others, and seeing the world from their perspective. Whenever I've worked with groups to improve collaboration, this is always a critical inflection point. If you don't do this, you'll never be a good collaborator. Tool 3. Cultivate understanding of your own needs. If others don't know what is important to you, they might not effectively collaborate with you. Again, I choose the word carefully. Cultivate understanding. You don't cultivate something by being aggressive. You gently plant a seedling, protect it, nurture it, support it. Cultivate concern for your outcomes by communicating what is important to you and why. But remember, this follows understanding of others. Tool 4, add value. You have to earn your status as a collaboration partner. One of the great lessons from NDT research is that it is not knowledge that's important, but the sharing of knowledge. A psychologist in a child cancer patient's MDT is useless unless he contributes his understanding of the child in the case. A civil engineer on a mining site is useless unless she has researched the implication of subterranean drilling on above-ground structures. If you want to be respected as a collaboration partner, deserve that respect. If you want to have influence, earn the right to have influence. Tool 5, scale your collaboration. Back in 2016, the Harvard Business Review ran this article, Collaborative Overload. Collaboration is time-consuming. Good collaborators are in high demand. If they are spread too thinly, they lose their impact. But much of what we think of as collaboration is just communication overload. Copying somebody in on an email is not collaboration. Sharing every document is not smart collaboration. Every collaborator needs to be thoughtful about everyone else's time. And the real killer is meetings. Time and energy is finite, so don't waste these finite resources in meaningless get-togethers. Have fewer but better meetings. But to collaborate is not only about giving time. That HBR article identifies 3 types of collaborative resources: informational, social, and personal. I quote from the article. Informational resources are knowledge and skills, expertise that can be recorded and passed on. Social resources involves one's awareness, access, and position in a network, which can be used to help colleagues better collaborate. Personal resources include one's own time and energy. Informational and social resources can be shared, often in a single exchange, without depleting the collaborator's supply. When I offer you knowledge or network awareness, I also retain it for my own use. But an individual employee's time and energy are finite, so each request to participate in or approve decisions for a project leaves less available for that person's own work. So scale your collaborative effort by sharing and activating your networks in support of your collaboration partners, and share your knowledge and expertise. If you send someone your cheat sheet for solving a specific problem, you are scaling your collaboration. But even if you address a group or meeting and share your insights, you are scaling your collaboration. And to wrap up our 3 episodes on collaboration, a quick word on silos. They have a place in this world. Grain has been stored in silos for centuries, basically for risk mitigation. If you spread your risk, you limit the risks of contamination, moisture, and heat, the 3 great enemies of grain. As a metaphor for insular groups in organizations, it's perfect. Silos happen where work groups are concerned about their own success more than about the success of the organization, and when they want to protect their own special identity and how they do things. I was once told by a senior executive that I don't have a silo, I have a cylinder of excellence. He was an ambitious man, aiming for the top job in his organization. He thought he'd get there by showing how good his own division was. He did not get that top job. In fact, he lost his own in a modernization of the organization shortly afterwards. The top job went to a boundary spanner, a person who was able to collaborate and draw support from many parts of the organization, someone trusted to elevate the interests of the organization above his own. And rightly so. In the next episode, we move from collaboration to the next challenge of leadership, performance. See you then.